Pricing in Oasis has really two major areas. One is what we call price lookup, and the other one is what we call price history. And it's very fundamental and very important to identify the differences between the two. So let me just add a new item here. So fundamental lighting, A1256. Now what's happening here is it's actually looking through the price lookup system. Okay, very important detail here. So this is information that has been added to Oasis by an individual by copying and pasting a spreadsheet, auto-downloading data from a manufacturer or other source. So the main thing is this is what we consider managed data. And each one of these items has what we call an expiration date. So it won't price this if the expiration date has passed. Okay, important detail there. Basically, anything that's automatically done or anything that is important to have the system manage has to be managed by an individual. So in this case, we have A1256-B that's in the price list, and the price list is showing $12. Now, if I go up here to the price lookup icon, or I go to Tools and Price Lookup, or I hit the F3 button, all do exactly the same thing. As soon as I click on that, I'll see basically all similar items. So basically A1256-B-star, okay, and it shows me all the different prices associated with that. If I identify an item totally different and I double click on it, it'll reprice that for me, but notice now it's red because basically it's saying, hey, that price is a little bit different. All I have to do to reprice it, by the way, is highlight the column I want the price to be in, hit the pricing system, double click on the price, and it'll pull that price into the system. And this allows for multiple prices for different reasons, project versus customer specific and so forth. Okay. Now, the other item that we have in here is what we call price history. So again, using this one item here, I can go through and go to Tools and say Price History or Part History. Okay, and it didn't find that one item there. But if I back up a little bit, star, hit approximate match, it'll show me all the different projects that that particular item is on, the pricing that I sold it at, and allow me to do a couple of things. First is I can use this to swag a price. In other words, I can say, oh yeah, it's quoting within $12 to $13 and $13.50. So I can manually key that in. More on that in a second. I can also use this to identify that, hey, it looks like this is all associated with the same project. Well, sure enough, this is the Village Green project. But again, if someone calls me up and says, hey, give me a quote on a specific item, here's the big long catalog number, and I use a price history and I see that that's some big project, well, they could be cherry picking it, trying to identify the one item that they would like to pull from you and then everything else to your competitor. Kind of an important detail there. But the main thing here is you can use it for the cherry picking prevention, if you will, but I can also use it again for pricing. Now, we do not consider price history as something as being an item that you'll use confidently. In other words, I know here the pricing is anywhere from $12 to $13.50. Well, which one are you going to use? We do not allow you to double click on the item because there's a lot of details here that you have to take in consideration, but you can close out and say, okay, in this case I'll use whatever the item is, $13.50. Okay, again, you have to manually key that in. Now, a lot of the other details that are shown here is basically the $13.50. That again goes back to the price lookup system, a detail here, and says, okay, in the price lookup system, you told me that $14.50 is the lowest price that I'm allowed to sell that item. Again, showing the differences between a managed price list that we can use through the lookup system versus part history, which is just I'm trying to swag a number, trying to get a detail off that. So anyway, that's the major differences between what we call price list and price history within the system. As far as setting up a price list, you'll have to consult the another segment on that. And part history, it is always going to be something that you can swag. Although there are, kind of a hint here, ways of taking your pricing history and pulling that into an active price list inside of Oasis. But again, that requires an individual to make decisions, and that is what makes the information in Oasis something you can use confidently versus something that could potentially burn you.